Hello Hattrick friends, this is episode 112 of Let's Play Hattrick in San Marino with Untitled. This week features a comparison of cycles in San Marino and Denmark. We also have great news from the Youth Academy. Even without knowing the scouts call, this has been a great week already, so I am looking forward to showing you what happened during the past week there. And finally, we are starting to see more pups in the training department, and I've made a little observation about passing profit training that I want to share with you. If you do have any passing stint remaining in your own cycle plan, you might have use of it. And finally, of course, we will be doing some bot bashing in preparation for the final league match of the season against Mickey B. Hopefully we can get through without any injuries or stupid suspensions. Let's start out by checking out what has happened at the Youth Academy. I've been waiting to show you guys Antonio Acangeloni has revealed an unpredictable spec, and he did so in the friendly match against Junior Knollesparken. Let's just take a look at the match report here. Benedetti scoring, by the way, from a counter down the central sector 20 minutes in, but that's not the important thing here. The important thing is that in minute 48, Acangeloni actually made a mishap down in defense and nearly gave Knollesparken the goal. Otterson missed, but the good thing about it is the fact that we now know he is unpredictable. Along with the solid potential in defending, I think we might have a quality player here. Even though he started out older than 16, he'll be promotable at 17 years and 7 days. Things are looking good at the academy. Other good news, if we go further down towards the bottom of the page, we have news about Benedetti. Benedetti is now 10 days away from promotion, 1 match remains, and he has reached solid. He actually did that in the first match of the week, and he is now at 7.1. Hoping for a bit more in the final match, because every little thing helps for such a talented young guy. What a bright future this guy could have in store. Hopefully we will get to see him in the under-21s during the Euro campaign, which he is eligible for in a few seasons time. So great news from the academy, but let's see, perhaps this week of academy dealings gets even better now that we do the scouts call. Calling them up. Alright, 2 15-year-olds. That's not too shabby. I think we are going with Lorenzo Chiarozzi because he could have some decent potential in playmaking. He has inadequate potential in defending already and weak playmaking, as we know at this moment. Alright, recruit. 108 days. Okay, so he's close to 16. Not the best pull ever, but no reason to be too worried about it. He could still be a fairly decent player with a little luck. Now, I've been talking about comparing the cycles in San Marino and Denmark for quite a while, so let's get to that part right away. Okay, the way that I've chosen to do this, we have Interkalvehave on the left and Kalvehave CF on the right here. Do note that Kalvehave CF is 1 week ahead in the cycle, and it's based on Rico Åstrup, the first core player's age, and Zanotti's age here. And I should actually note that, of course, we don't have a clone of Blitwoski in the Danish cycle. We have another keeper here, but I'll leave it as it is for now. That's just how it is. Funds, we have 19.2 million euros in the coffers in Denmark, while we have 15.5 in San Marino. A good reason why this is lower in San Marino at the moment is because we have more profit players in the club at the moment compared to Denmark. I'm still trying to acquire a few more profit players in Denmark. Some of the players here have actually gained, if you remember any of the figures. Algemasi is a long-time trainee and he is up to 1 million now. Blitwoski slowly losing value, but that's a trend you'll see among all the players listed in the sheet if they are not defense trainings, more or less at the moment. Sorcic is actually up to 900,000 euros, Sergio Lucas 820,000 euros, Stewie Benton 700,000, and Macarias 640. Camilo Tovar is not listed anymore here. He was supposed to be here, but after talking to the Venezuelan under-21s national team, I have decided to let him go. They'll be able to train him in a more specific way towards the under-21s team. And that means the funds are actually increased, while his entry here is marked with a 00. Funds and profit players summarized, we are at 22,260,000 euros in San Marino, while we are at 24,100,000 in Denmark. Denmark, so slightly ahead in Denmark. Looking at the core players here, should be quite comparable. If you look at Zanotti versus Åstrup, they are fairly even in HTMS accumulated, 1541 versus 1556. They're also pretty even in value, and it's a little hard to be fairly specific, and I would rate them as almost equally valuable to each of the cycles. Raw talent, Åstrup is just a few points ahead of Zanotti here. A major difference is the remaining two core homegrown players, Camallini and Francioni, are not players with specs, and you can see a difference in the value here. And Elisau is almost a full million ahead of Camallini in the transfer value compare, and Hauge is also ahead of Francioni, even though Francioni is a bit higher in the accumulated HTMS. For the half-baked players, you'll see the wingers in Denmark are a little more valuable than the wingers in San Marino, but there's fewer transfer compares on the guys in San Marino, so you can't say this for sure, but looking at the values, there's a difference here. The PNF Volukis is more valuable than Veganan at this point in time, but on the other hand, Veganan has more HTMS points accumulated totally. A general trend on all the values, I must repeat, is the fact that all of these values are basically stagnated or going down. That's because of the market in general. In terms of making raw profit and seeing the figures go up, I'm not too concerned. It seems that the value of many well-trained players in the market is still going down since HGAL closed a few seasons ago. So if you feel that you are not making any profit or making less profit than expected, don't be too worried about it, because I think that's probably the deal for most managers at the moment. Now, let's take a look at the overall training sheet. We do not have a lot of visible changes in form with the core players. Zanotti has a minor GSI change and is still in passable form. Francioni is losing a bit of form as well, while we have the remaining four gaining a bit here. Lukis gaining TSI since he dropped to solid form a few weeks ago. 4 out of 6 players gaining TSI is a good sign towards the end of the season. In the profit department, we do see Sergio Lucas increasing his accumulated TSI to 714, Camelo Tovar 765, and the potential is now at 1960. We will be letting him go, and there's already a bid in, so the money is actually secured for the coffers already. That's pretty good. Sausage also increasing his accumulated HGMS to 779, 1960, HGMS 28 potential as well. Now, the observation I wanted to make is I don't see the forwards increasing as much in value as the defenders, and it's a bit of an interesting situation if you think about raw rating contribution. At least passing on defenders don't contribute to any rating at all. It does contribute to tactic effectiveness, and especially for the counter-attacking tactic. Strikers, however, do get raw attack rating contribution from their passing skill, and this is a reason why I'm a little surprised that they don't get as much value out of the passing training, at least from what I've seen so far with this passing stint. Defenders simply do gain more value, and it could be related to the fact that scoring trainees are a bit more expensive at the level I'm trying to make my niche. Main skill around magnificent. Another thing to add to the observation is the fact that I've been trying to see if there was any interesting profit to be made on midfielders in this magnificent main skill niche, and they are simply way too expensive to expect any meaningful profit on. So my advice, if you have a profit stint coming up in your own cycle, is you should probably look at defenders. Perhaps buy a striker if you need a striker to help you out on the field anyway. That could potentially lead to a better league placement, some more prize money. But in terms of getting raw profit trainees in, I would suggest looking at defenders first. Ahead of the league match, we have sent the orders for the match against Fiorentino RSM. Ledwoski is fully recovered from his injury, and we have made sure that Volukis will not be starting the match in order to avoid another yellow and getting suspended for the final match of the season. The stage is set, we need to get through this butt bashing encounter, and hopefully we have what it takes to beat Mickey B in the final round. On Sunday evening, we played away against Fiorentino RSM in this important match where the goal was to keep up with Mickey B in order to set up this showdown for the final round of the season, a showdown for second place. We won 7-0. We had no injuries, but we did get a scare in the 31st minute when we saw the injury icon and the Zanotti name coming up in the match report. I was worried for a second there, but luckily there was no injuries for Zanotti in this match. That would have been pretty devastating. In the league, it's worth noting that Mickey B actually dropped points against the unknowns. They drew 1-1, just 1 point behind Mickey B, but it doesn't matter much in the grand scheme of things. We have to win the final match of the season in order to overtake them for the second place. Nasty Dragons won 7-0 against AS Cedar Valle, and they're playing BK Union Belize, so I don't believe there's much chance of them dropping points in the final match of the season. Taking a look at this match, you'll see that the big star of Nasty Dragons, Sergio Capicchioni, actually scored a hat-trick in this match. And that means that pressure is on for the top scorers title this season. Volukis was rested in order to avoid a yellow card, so he will be playing in the final match of the season. But at 10 goals, just one less than Volukis, Sergio Capicchioni now. So they'll probably be battling out a race for the title. I certainly don't hope Ekdal or Olave will be in the mix for this one. If that's the case, we will be in trouble in the final match against Mickey B. Hopefully, just hopefully, we can finish second, even though we had a few hiccups during this season. That's all for this week's episode. I hope you liked it. Please consider leaving a comment, liking the video, or perhaps even subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next week with an update, hopefully finishing in second. Take care. Bye.